Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Zach Laws. I'm from Gold Derby, and it is my pleasure to moderate this Q&A. Please welcome Mr. Craig Wedren and Mr. David Wain.
Hi everybody. Has everybody seen that before? Good. Nice shoes, Zach.
Why, thank you, David. We didn't plan this. So first off, for both of you, this movie came at the beginning of your respective careers. Coming back to it 15 years later, did you have a thought of, God, I hope we don't screw this up?
I did. I was amazed that we didn't screw it up. That David didn't screw it up.
I think part of the reason it took this long to do was, for me and personally, there was a huge fear of screwing it up, and knowing that people cared about it a lot, and it had gone out of our hands and into fans' hands, and I just wanted to thread that needle of doing something that was new and for now, but also honoring what it was. And you know, sequels to comedies are notoriously rare and difficult to pull off.
We also, if you notice, the idea was to explode something that was already completely overblown and ridiculous, the movie, and just somehow do like more and more and more of what the movie did. And so I think it's both of our habits to aim for the rafters, and so that always, setting the bar higher each time makes it much more terrifying and likely to fail. And so that is even more kind of amazing that it didn't.
The challenge, and I think the great inspirational thing, was to set it beforehand and to make it so that we were building all these backstories to these stories that didn't ask for backstories in any way.
There's so many egregious, unnecessary, drawn-out origin stories. It's basically all origin stories.
Well, I guess the opportunity to do a musical within this show must have been really exciting for you. So, I mean, take us through the process of developing that. How early on did you come into the script writing phase?
Well, you should start with how you guys started writing.
Well, we wrote the show very quickly in the fall before the winter when we shot it, and I think just in the writer's room with Michael Showalter kind of leading the writer's room, and then all of us, a group of us working together, we very quickly and easily decided, of course, there should be a musical involved, which we neglected to have in the movie. And then we were talking about, I think for a minute or two, like, should it be Fiddler on the Roof, or should it be, and they were like, no, we've got to make our own cheesy 80s weird musical. And then I think it was Anthony King, who is a great lyricist and one of the writers on our staff, that was just like, and it will be electric. Oh, no. Yeah, or he came up with a bunch of stuff very quickly, or the whole storyline, like within 2 minutes. And then somewhere we were like, and it's going to be called Electro City. Then we had little sketches for lyrics and just ideas of what some of the songs were. And then that's when we brought in Craig. And Craig is, well, then we just basically said, here's the rough gist of things we have in mind, and then he took it from there.
So in the script, there were like a few lyrics from each song, which set it off in the right direction. And then David and Michael Showalter and I were supposed to have like a big meeting about like, what are all of these songs? They had specific kind of references for each of the songs. And, but there wasn't time because we were just tumbling over ourselves trying to get everything done. There were, my team and I, in addition to writing the score, we needed to write this musical. The score is also in 5 different genres. And we needed to write the musical, and we needed to write 30 or 35 original songs, period songs for the movie. And so there really wasn't time to even like travel 2 miles to get together and talk about this music. So David and Michael, I was like, just record into your iPhone, just shout out whatever it is. Just sing the few lyrics that are on the page the way you hear them. And if there are any song references, or any musical references, include them in the voicemail. So they sent me this like 2.5-minute voicemail, just really rapid fire going through the few lyrics that were in the script. And they're like, whatever. And then I listened to it, and it was very clear. And one of the members of my team, Jefferson Friedman, by the way, this was such a team effort. Matt Novak, who's going to play some music with me in a few minutes, and Jefferson Friedman in particular were integral to the creation of this score and all this music. So we just basically listened to it, totally got, because David and I have known each other since we were 2.
One of the things that made this whole entire project work was that everyone involved had shorthand, but particularly Craig and I have been working together for 40 years now. And the fact that when there's like a question about music, I'm like, no, it's like, and they're like, oh yeah, I got it. I know exactly what you mean.
And so it was like that, and then we just completely went to town on it and riffed off the lyrics that they were writing, developed the music, and then, once Paul got involved, he's a great singer, and we've all been working together for a long time too. So it really is, it's a troupe, and so that was kind of how it worked.
Talk a bit more about the score that you wrote for it, because like you said, there's about 5 different genres in the show. In this episode alone, you've got courtroom drama, you're lampooning musicals, romantic comedies, so...
There's some light new wave.
There you go, yeah. So talk a bit about the creation of the score. Obviously the 80s are a big influence on it, but what were some other inspirations for you?
Well, so there were these different strands. There was the original score for the movie, which Theodore Shapiro and I made, and we were incorporating and adapting elements of that, which you can hear in Chris Pine's character. You can hear little bits of Higher and Higher, which was a song that Teddy and I wrote for the movie. And then, I don't know, it was very organic, but for instance, for Showalter, for Mike Black and Bradley Cooper's characters, I wanted to do something that was sort of hinting at like early 80s synth pop, kind of, slightly a hint, or like a hats off to like gay club music, but without giving it away. So that's a little bit synthetic, and then there's just, like you said, courtroom drama stuff, which is just, we're all familiar with it. It's a kind of a trope. But with all of these styles, there are tropes, and you can very easily sort of check the boxes, but you want it, particularly because people have a relationship to the music in the original movie. It was so important that it actually be heartfelt, like music that we loved.
To me, what's so amazing about it is that there's a cohesiveness to all of it, even though it's pulling from all these different influences and genres, and that it in total feels like a single work as a collection of musical cues, and that they all, despite, one of the great things the music achieves, I think, in Wet Hot American Summer, for me, watching it, is despite how utterly, absurdly ridiculous it is, and how much we undercut every possible moment and every turn, the music really helps me still be very invested in it, and the performances and the characters, and it's an incredible feat that you've pulled off.
Thank you. And that was always the gauge. Like if I or members of my team weren't having the appropriate emotional reaction to it, they got fired. So I went through. Finally, I just wound up doing it myself. If it wasn't resonating, then it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It doesn't matter like how, cheeky or clever it is. It just had to be good music.
I've spoke to several composers in my time, and they all say that the hardest thing to write for is comedy. Would you say that's true as someone who works a lot in comedy?
Nope.
Okay, well that's that.
I mean, but it's so much about rhythm for me. Comedy is so much about rhythm, and so I always call the dialogue the vocals. And my first career was singing for and writing for and playing in bands. So I'm very conscious of the rhythm of words and the the way people speak. And so I really just think of it as creating a backing track for the vocal, for the lead vocal. So in that sense, and with comedy, it's about like where you're leaving space, where's the pause, what's the rhythm, and where's the punchline. So
I think, I've never heard you explain it exactly that way, but I would say that's exactly how I think of it too. And maybe that's why we work together well. Like, I think of every moment in something like this as having a flow and rhythm, and the music and the dialogue and the visuals are all working together, taking part, taking turns, and you can't possibly even think of one without the other. Like, there's no, and I've never, for example, would edit something before and then put in the music. It doesn't make any sense. Music is an element of it from the get-go.
Well, as you mentioned before, you guys have worked together for a long time. A lot of your credits overlap, if not all of them, as I was doing my research today. So maybe you could both talk to this, like as a director, what is the benefit of having a composer long-term, and as a composer, what is the benefit of working with a director over and over again?
I could start and just say, for me, we were friends hanging out together every day since we were 4 years old. Then we were roommates in college, and then when I started making one, like I did a short film in college, and I'm like, hey, you're a musician, you're right here, will you make music? And then it was always great, and then simultaneously for me, I was genuine, like in love with his music that he was doing with his bands anyway. And then it really, for me, over time, as I started to develop and do more things, it became an ain't broke situation where it's like every time we just kept growing and learning things together, and shorthand growing, and never resting and never being like, oh yeah, this is the same old thing, let's try it. You know, it was always both trying to push ourselves each time. So why stop that kind of thing? That's from my point of view.
And we're developing what you were just saying. We've always been, we're lucky in that we're both fans of each other's work. So it makes it very easy to, when one of us is critical of something that the other has done, it's much easier to discuss. Like, David can tell me when something isn't hitting it, or when it's just straight lousy, and I can do the same thing. There's just a real foundation of like understanding, respect for, and a common foundation of sensibility. I mean, we grew up drinking Lake Erie water, and it's in everything we do.
That's the secret, folks. Drinking Lake Erie water. You can grow up to be just like them. So how many songs did you say that you wrote for this show overall?
About 35. I mean, they weren't all full songs. Some of them are just 20 seconds. Some of them were 3 or 4 minutes. It really just depended. But there wasn't a huge licensing budget, and David knows me originally from song background. He directed my first band's first music video when I was 13, and so we were both like, great, funnel that little bit of money that you have toward me and my team, and we'll write all of the songs.
But I mean, I came to appreciate that for you to write a 20-second snippet of what sounds like a hit from the 80s is not that much harder than writing the whole thing. Like, not easier than writing the whole thing. So it's like you're creating an entire sonic world and that really incredible hook and a whole feeling for a song, and then we only need 20 seconds of it, so you gotta do that, and then do another one, do another one, it was an incredible feat you guys pulled off with no time and no money.
Well, even in this episode alone, I mean, you have to give the impression that you're doing an entire show, not just like little snippets of it.
And while we were working on it, we're like, oh my god, I can't wait to develop this music and do Electro City.
So in the next episode, there is an original song that you've submitted for Emmy consideration. I Am a Wolf, You Are a Moon. I wonder if you want to talk a bit about the development of that song.
So I'm a Wolf, You're the Moon, which, time permitting, we're going to play for you, was an idea that I had sort of half floating around, and it never went away. And it's very important to me at the risk of repeating myself, it's very important to me to always try and make music that I love, even if it winds up an orphan or somehow doesn't quite have a home yet. When I read the script and when David and Michael and I started talking, there was a scene in the next episode where Paul Rudd's character Andy and all of the counselors are having a staff party, and they're sitting around like you do if any of you went to summer camp, just with acoustic guitars and cups of beer, and everybody's singing along. Again, it's one of these absurd scenes. It's a montage where Liz Banks is talking about all the stereotypes of different types of characters at summer camp, while Paul, Andy, is playing this song. And I was like, well, what is that song? Is it like it had to be something that everybody would have known in 1981. So we were sort of like, maybe it's sort of a Simon Garfunkel thing, or like Cat Stevens or James Taylor. And while we were talking about it, I thought, oh my God, I have this perfect idea for a song that I've been looking for a home for. And so I took little strands of what became I Am a Wolf, You Are the Moon, and started playing around with it. And then another member of my team, Isaac Carpenter, who's here, who's just a master at editing and focusing, because I tend to write in too many parts. And he's like, lop that off, cut that out, needs a big shouting thing here, great, we got our song. And so it was really, it was one of those sort of gifts which came very quickly. And then when I played it for everybody, it just seemed to resonate. And it just seems to have continued to resonate with people, which is really nice.
When we shot the scene at the camp, when the whole cast was asked to sing along, as if, the direction was pretend this is a classic song we've all heard on the radio and we're all singing it along as if everybody's known it for years. And it felt that way within 2 minutes of singing it for everyone. And I remember everyone around the room, the crew and the cast, was like, fuck, this is a really good song. Like, and just like, thinking like, this should get an award.
We're very good here, folks. So we have a few minutes left. We'd like to open it up. If you have any questions, good questions, please. Yes, you, sir.
What can you tell us about the next chapter?
Next chapter is Wet Hot American Summer, 10 years later.
So musically, I had to cut myself off at basically the dawn of rap, the very beginning of new wave, no hardcore or alternative, no hair metal, and we're gonna get to all of that because it's gonna be 1991, which, by the way, is when we were all in college together. So, I mean, it's our DNA. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but basically, and I don't know either.
Yes.
Where did you guys go to summer camp?
We went to, first we went to Park Day Camp, and then we went to probably various other Camp Wise in Chardon, Ohio. Park Day Camp was Park Synagogue Day Camp. You guys all know that in Cleveland Heights.
We went to the country school.
Country school. We probably went to like tennis camp and other camps, and then we spent our teeny years going to Camp Moden in Maine, which is from my end of it, the main inspiration for Wet Hot American Summer. And Michael Showalter went to another camp called Camp Mohawk in the Berkshires.
You back there.
You touched on it before, but how do you decide how sort of authentic or sincere to make something when you're in the writing process, like the I'm a Wolf? Yeah.
Oh, musically?
Yes. Is there a moment where you go, wait, this might sound too good or might be distracting?
Sure. But I mean, we have a good bouncing things off each other process where if I have an idea that I'm either excited about or very sure about or not quite sure about, I'll just send David like a super rough, like, what about that? And he'll say, yeah, that's not right, or like, totally, develop it.
But I think particularly for things like Wet Hot, and many things that we've done, like They Came Together comes to mind, where you have a brilliant way of creating the lyrical counterpoint to the kind of things we're writing, where the lyrics are awesome and effective and involving, but also so stupid. And I think like Higher and Higher is one great example of that.
One of my favorite things to do is to make music that is patently ridiculous, that people have to do a double and sometimes a triple take to realize that it's absurd. Like Higher and Higher, or I did the score and some songs for the School of Rock. There's a song I wrote for it called Heal Me, I'm Heartsick. And it's like it's an awesome power ballad, and it's so stupid. So the more I can get away with, the happier it makes me. But if the song's not awesome, then it makes me, and I feel like the viewer, feel yucky. Something like I Am a Wolf is a purely genuine song. It's not a joke. Which was the assignment.
Yes.
Talk about being friends since you were 4 years old, and also like the same people that you worked on with the original movie. They've all gone on to these huge other careers, but they'll all come back 15 years later to make something else. And you've worked with the same people for so long. How conscious are you, and how important is it for a business or in life of like finding people that you know like this is my kind of person, or is it just a happy coincidence, starting consciously like just looking for those people and it's like these are going to be my people, or is it like I guess I just gravitate towards me people?
David and I have been incredibly fortunate in our lives, in that, particularly in our young lives, extraordinary people, extraordinary people crossed our paths. As we've gotten older, I think we've become more conscious and conscientious about really maintaining those relationships. And as in any relationship, a marriage, a friendship, a working relationship, it requires vigilance and work, and the older we get and we talk about it a lot, it kind of blows our minds, actually.
But I think that part of it is that we've both prioritized that. To answer your question, I think it has been, for me, a real rudder, a real central goal for me is to work with people that I want to work with, because the process and enjoying and being fulfilled and having fun in the process is as much important to me as the product. And I remember seeing The State for the first time when I was 18 years old at NYU and feeling like, wow, these people look like they're having a great time on stage, and it's infectious and it's inclusive. And I felt like that's the key right there. Like, work with the people that you love, that you're having fun, and that the rest of it exudes to the audience if you're really talented.
One more? Yes.
With so many songs, you said there were like 35. Did you find that you pretty much dedicated an equal amount of time to each one, or did some go really?
Some went everything had to go very quickly.
Right.
Some obviously more quickly than others, and if something was super short, it was kind of easier. But really, we were in flow. It was a very creative process.
One of those things where once the muscles are going, you just go, you have no choice.
Yeah, we had no choice. And so I don't remember any blockage. I find that usually comes when I have too much time to think about something.
But I watched you spit out songs so fast, I couldn't believe it. Like, sometimes it just was, late in the edit of one thing, it's got a lock, we're like, we've changed the scene, now we need a whole new song right here. Let's come up with some brand new song from scratch, make it great. He's like, okay, and here it is.
You have to remember too, like, we had the same taste in music and we listened to the same music growing up. And so And so everything you hear is like completely in our DNA. So I'm just like, oh, it's like R.E.M. There's nothing like R.E.M. in this, but or it's it's clearly Pat Benatar.
Certainly in the 1981, that couldn't be a bigger comfort zone, I think, for us.
It's our bullseye. We were 12 years old, and and going to Jewish summer camp.
Well, thank you both so much, and it's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do you have time for something?
Yes, we do. Let's give it up for
Thanks, everybody. So I'd like to invite my team up. These are all people who were involved in the creation of this music, and we're going to play I Am a Wolf, You're the Moon, and then we'll see if we have time for anything else. It's going to take us 1 sec to set up. We're also, there's going to be a video out tomorrow for I Am a Wolf, which I'm really excited about. It's actually, the video isn't Wet Hot related, but it's, I don't know, I think you're going to like it. And if you like it, share.
I've seen the video and it's beautiful, and I suggest people watch it. And the director is here, and her name's Amy. Yay.
So that one should be. You put this on that.
This is what goes on behind the scenes.
I'm helping. Everybody introduce yourself.
Hi,
Introduce yourself.
I'm Isaac Carpenter.
You co-wrote this.
I'm Alex Stamler.
Yeah, she's
And I'm Bo Bobby.
You just saw Allie in the show. Do you recognize her? She's the white girl.
Is that mic working?
Chick.
Is it a good height
Yeah,
for
it's
your
good.
violin?
Oh, no.
She said,
It's
okay.
I have to remember how this song goes.
First, how does it start? We want, okay, got it.
We want it all. Our time is coming soon. We want it all. I'll listen in our tune. Thunder in our hands, flowers in our bed. I saw you. Well, I am a wolf. Way out in the wood. And you are the moon. The lines are drawn. I'm riding with the fool. Our nights have gone to kingdoms without rule. Everywhere I turn, palaces burn for you. Well, I am a wolf. Way out in the wood. And you are the moon. Thunder in our hands, flowers in our bed. I saw ya. I am enjoying it. You are the movie. What time is it? Time for another one? All right. You know what? I'm going to play just this little guy, just because I like it. So, I got a call from Michael Showalter, and he said, we need a song for Andy, which is Paul Rudd's character. He needs to audition with something, and he's kind of a douchebag, but he comes in, and he sings the song. Maybe you can't tell whether he's making it up on the spot or not. And the song that Show had in mind was some Tom Waits song. Oh, the piano has been drinking. He was like, sort of a rambling, slightly surreal, slightly Tom Waitsy vibe. And I was in Hawaii, and it was raining, and I wrote this. It's called Champagne Eyes. These champagne eyes are trouble. My thoughts are on the ceiling. My God, no, that's not how it was. Ceiling. My gun. Oh, fuck. I gotta remember these chords. I was just like, ceiling. My gun. Oh, there it is. Got it. Thank you. No, that's how the song is. That's the audition. These champagne eyes are trouble. My thoughts are on the ceiling. My gun is shot away. No surprise. The lights are out, the money's gone. One breast is badly listed, and still you waltz about on champagne eyes. La la la, la 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 la. And every time you call me up, my chest starts fairly burning. Still we waltz about on champagne eyes. La 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 la. Champagne eyes. Forever waltz around, the only you can tell. Forever walk around the champagne eyes. Okay, this is the big finale. This is liable to go any which way. If you know it, sing it. David Wain on piano. everybody. I did that. I messed that up. These are the people who know the music for when I at the show. This is my team, Team Dave, and my best friend, David Wain.
That's like leaving me.
We're just gonna hang out up here like that awkwardly.
How's my truck?
Thanks for going out to the UCB Sunset Theater, folks. We have shows 7 nights a week. Check out ucbtheater.com.